excited to be here this morning to talk about empowering people through belief and communication. So let's first of all talk about what empowering means. Empowering means investing. Investing. So we empower people by investing with them. Empowering means permitting. Leading by permitting. By letting them march to the beat of their own drum, but keeping them on the path. Empowering means allowing them to have their own individuality, to be the best that they can be. Empowering means delegating, allowing people to step up to the plate to do the job and to believe that they'll do it well. So empowering is investing your time and belief into directors and allowing them to be their very, very best and allowing them to have their own individuality by delegating. Empowering others to me means trusting them. Empowering is not controlling them and it's not dictating to them what they should be. Empowering is not pointing out faults and weaknesses. Empowering is pointing out their strengths and allowing them to soar with their strengths. I think if there's been a common thread all morning with all of the leaders, we've talked about empowering people by allowing them their own individuality. And I think so often as leaders, we tell people not to compare, but don't we do it also? Don't many of us fall into the trap of comparing? And I think as we look out, especially now with the new program, it's so important to find out what is their strength and to continue to soar with their strength. You know, I shared a few years ago at seminar the story of Rabbit, who went to animal school. And when he went to animal school, the first day was hopping classes. And he went home and he was so proud and so excited because he was number one in hopping. And the next day he went to animal school and they had tree climbing. And he looked at cat and he looked at squirrel and they had fur and he had fur. So he thought he'd do great at tree climbing, but guess what? He fell out of the tree. And the third day he went to animal school and he thought, well, I don't even have to worry about being number one in swimming because only fish with scales swim. But guess what? The golden retriever won the swimming class that day. So he went home and he was just very upset that he wasn't great, but he had smart parents. So they kept him in animal school and they told the teacher, they said, keep Rabbit in hopping classes and take him out of all the rest of the classes. And, you know, we laugh at that story, but don't we do the same thing? Don't we take people and we want to make them to be a perfect leader, to be our offspring, to be a perfect leader. But often what we need to do is just empower them by allowing them to soar with their strengths. And then what happens is their confidence becomes so high that the rest of their leadership levels rise. Belief. What is belief? Belief is a conviction. I think that you can feel that conviction coming from all of the speakers this morning. I love the saying that people will become what the most important person in the world believes they will become. People will become what the most important person in the world believes that they will become. And national sales directors, no matter what, we are the most important person in the world to many. Don't you agree? And it is so important that our belief in them is so strong that failure will never overtake them. What do you believe about them? Here's what I know. I know that the directors that we're going to be bringing up to be leaders are not the finished product. We're not the finished product. And I think so many times we look at them and we expect them to be the finished product. You know, my sister is a hoot, I think, and she has this sign in her house, and it's an owl hanging upside down from a tree. And the caption under the owl says, "Pobody's nerfect." Pobody's nerfect. Pobody's nerfect. Think about it. I think allowing people to make their own decisions is very important. I think lovingly guiding people and giving them guidance and suggestions is important. But I think a lot of times when people are strong-willed, as we want our leaders to be, and strong-minded, that they need to make their own decisions. But it's not for us to be there to pick them up and say, "I told you so," or "If you would have asked me, that wouldn't have happened to you." It's our job, I think, as leaders to pick them up, dust them off, and to let them learn the lesson and then help them on their merry way. I think every one of us will agree that Arlene Lenars, Emeritus, is truly the most powerful speaker that we ever had in all of Mary Kay, except for Mary Kay Ash herself. How grateful I am that no one judged her, that no one told her that she wasn't the greatest speaker, that she wasn't the best at what she was doing, but believed in her immensely until she became the greatest leader in all of Mary Kay. I love communication. What you were doing speaks so loudly. I cannot hear what you're saying. You know, I really had the opportunity to sit back. I'm a talker. I love to visit and love to talk, and I haven't done a lot of talking and visiting because my throat hasn't allowed me to. So I've done a lot of listening and learning, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity because I've really watched a lot of you communicate without saying a word, by how people are greeted, by where we're sitting, by how we compliment, by the love that we show, by empowering other people, by how we act, by what we do, not by always what we're saying. You know, Arlene Lenars taught me two things I'll never forget, probably the most important, valuable lesson that I learned in all of Mary Kay, the difference between being a leader who's a taskmaster or a leader who's a dream builder. Now, you can do both or you can choose, but let me tell you what I learned from Arlene Lenars. Arlene Lenars says that we can be a taskmaster or a dream builder. A taskmaster, if you will do this by this time, you get this. A dream builder says, I believe in you, and I know in your time you will accomplish great. A taskmaster says, don't fall down or you will get punished, which is, if you don't complete this by this time, you get this. A dream builder says, if you fall down, I'll pick you up and I'll teach you how not to fall again. I'll pick you up. I believe in your dreams. People who succeed as products of taskmasters will succeed, but they will always believe it's because they did what somebody else told them what to do. People who succeed, who are products of dream builders, believe in their dreams, and they believe in their own abilities to make their dreams come true. And they succeed because of the confidence that's created in them by the leader that has guided them. Rena Tarbett says, if your desire to succeed is strong enough, failure will never overtake you. So let's see what Mary Kay says about that. You know, as I was preparing this lesson this morning, I decided to go see what Mary Kay says, Mary Kay Way. And ironically, I ran across some notes that I did several years ago with all of you, and it was about heart. And what Mary Kay teaches is about heart. So let me give you an acronym, because I believe that that's what Mary Kay wants more than anything in this world, is for us to be women who can lead others with heart and harmony. So the acronym for HEART is honoring, go, give, to honor, the go, give, and golden rule, to communicate that to directors, to allow them to feel the love and the camaraderie that you will create by honoring always your sister sales directors and your sister national sales directors. I've shared all over the nation many times the story of a woman that I had placed in another unit when I was a brand new sales director in the early 80s. That woman went on to become a national sales director. When she debuted on stage as a national sales director, she came up to me and said, do you remember me? You placed me in another unit because I was the customer of someone else. I could have been your offspring national sales director. And I said to her, see, I believe God has a computer up there. And in that computer, he programmed Jan Harris did the right thing. And she placed this person where she was supposed to be. So let's program in a couple of national sales directors for her. The day that that woman debuted on stage as a national sales director was the same day that Stacey James and Julie Krebsbach debuted as national sales directors. We have such a great opportunity now as we continue to raise leaders to not just teach them about the legacy, the go-give spirit, and the golden rule, but to show them. E stands for enthusiasm, and who better showed us that than Gloria Mayfield Banks, communicating to women by how you visit with them, how excited you are to hear them. You know, write down things about directors that excite you. And we all have directors that don't excite us, don't we? But I think it's so important. You know, I mean, do you ever have on your caller ID, you see a director's name and you say, oh, I'm just going to let her to leave a message? And, you know, that's the director that you need to pick up and be excited about her and get excited about what it is that she isn't doing so that that will create in her the desire to want to do more. A is the art of listening. You know, I love the coaching that we've had, and I believe we're going to get more today. But the art of listening, I love the art of putting your hand on your heart when you're listening to directors and not multitasking. And I guess today is, you know, Thank Karen Pirro Day, because Karen, I want to thank you. A few years ago when Karen said, I quit multitasking when I was visiting with directors. I quit multitasking. I started just focusing on my conversation with them. And Karen, I was so guilty of multitasking. And, I started doing that, just listening, putting my hand on my heart when I'm talking and hearing what it is that she's not saying. And this year, the director said, "You are so empowering. You've changed something. We can't quite pinpoint what it is." But do you know what it was? Total focus. Total focus. Total listening. They are our job. When that phone rings and there's a troubled director on the line, that is our job. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. R is right. Catching people doing something right. One of the things I've started saying to directors is, this is what I know about you. This is what I love about you. This is what I've noticed that you're doing. Forget about what it is that they're not doing. Empower them to be the best person that they can be, and it will create in them the desire to raise up their other skills. And T, of course, give them time. And I think, Lisa, you shared that so beautifully, to give them the time. To give them the time, to give them the conference calls, to give them the hotlines, to give them the coaching calls, to give them the time. I truly feel that our number one job as national sales directors is not to sell the product. I believe we've done that. We've proven we can do that. And I'm always excited to share my product, but that's not our number one job. Our number one job as nationals is not to build a top unit. We've done that. I think we can have units to develop directors. Our number one job is to multiply ourselves. And we've been handed the golden nugget now to do that. The opportunity to take leaders, to build them, to empower them, to take them to the level of greatness that we know that they can be. And it takes a village to raise a child. And I believe that that's the job of all of us. To be there for one another, to be there for Go Give, to empower one another and to empower each other. I love getting on a conference call for you and telling directors how respected you are and how much you're loved and how much the company adores you and how great you are. That makes me feel like I have the ability to empower you in front of people. And isn't that our job, to make each other look good? I learned a couple of years ago, 38 years into a marriage, 40 years now, that our job as spouses is to make our spouses look good in front of other people, no matter what. And you know what? Don't you agree? Wouldn't that be great to do with one another, to make each other look great in front of people, at career conferences, at seminar, at leaderships? By empowering people through belief and communication, you must first love them. So to love directors is to respect them. To respect them, you must know them. And once you know them, you can honor them. And once you honor them, it's much easier to love them. Our number one job as national sales directors is to multiply ourselves. And I'm so proud of my 3 offspring nationals, Julie and Stacy and Deb. They're all individual, incredible, and unique. They are not clones or replicas of me. They are their own individual leaders. None of them are clones, and I honor their individuality. I will bring up more NSDs in the next 5 years, and it's important, I believe, that we honor the individuality of the people that we're bringing up, making sure that they align themselves with the standards, the ethics, and the integrity that Mary Kay has set before us. And how we do that is by showing our love and support of one another. I read an article the other day. It's called the 100-0 Paradox. The 100-0 Paradox. And the paradox is when you give 100% of yourself to a relationship, 100% of your heart, 100% of your love, 100% of you to any relationship, and the other person only gives a 0 back to you, that eventually that person breakthroughs will happen in their heart with you, and eventually that person will raise their commitment to your relationship to 100%. It's called the 100% paradox. And don't you agree that there are often directors in your national areas that are contributing 0%? And that by giving 100% of your love and 100% of your emotion, 100% of your belief, that eventually that respect will come back.
In the course of 18 years that I've been a national, I've made myself aware more and more of what I do so that I can teach it. And so I'm just sharing that with you so that you can know how brilliant you all are, okay? Enrollment, this is what we do. First of all, when you enroll people, there really is a process. And the first step of enrollment is to create a discussion or a conversation about something. You get in conversation with someone. And it can look like, so tell me what you're up to. What are you creating? What's your dream? What do you want to see happen this month? Whatever, some sort of conversation. It could be with your husband. So how do you really feel about taking out that garbage and cleaning up the... No. And then the second thing we do is ask questions, get clarity, create the dream, and enter a consciousness. Okay, so that's what we do when we're asking those questions. See, when we hand deliver the goods, then we don't really get for them to be in their new state of consciousness. When they have to come up with their own answers, they realize how brilliant they are. And then the third thing we do is we overcome objections. And then the fourth thing we do is we get a commitment. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how really committed are you to getting that done? What can I look forward to in your behavior that will really show me that that really is important to you and you really do want to follow through with that? What will I be able to see so that we can celebrate together when you've reached that? What should I look for? And then the fifth thing is get the check. Get the check. To me, get the check is more than just the commitment. Get the check is like, no kidding, take it to the bank, kill me if it doesn't happen, get the check. And some people get a written one, some people get a verbal one, some people make a contract with a coaching call, whatever your get the check is. It takes them to the next level beyond just I'm going to get that done. And so when we enroll people, it's inclusive, not exclusive. It's really important to remember that, people are walking around on the same planet, minding their own business, and then when we begin to enroll them, it's like we wake them up and shake them up to something that's so different. And that's because it's inclusive. We want to include them. And it's not just about disturbing their peace of mind, although it is about that too. Okay, so I want you to write this sentence down. We enter their consciousness when we are passionate about them, when we create a picture for them to step into, and we hold it in front of them, and we engage them into a belief and a consciousness and a new conversation, a big thinking. I'm going to say it again. We enter their consciousness when we are passionate about them, when we create a picture for them to step into, and we hold it in front of them, and we engage them into a belief and a consciousness and a new conversation of big thinking. When we have done that, then we can hold them accountable, but not before. We enter their consciousness when we are passionate about them. When Jan said, find the good in them, find them doing something right. When we're passionate about them, write your list about them. When you can be present 100% to them in a conversation, and you begin to fall in love all over again with them, so that when you hang up the conversation, you go, oh, I love that. That was so good. I wish everybody was on to see how great that connection was. One of those conversations versus the ones that were going, that was kind of boring. You know what I'm talking about. We enter their consciousness when we are passionate about them, when we create a picture for them to step into, and we hold it in front of them. And we engage them into a belief and a consciousness and a new conversation of big thinking. Then and only then can we hold them accountable. Before then, we don't have their permission. And that's what I do. And guess what? That's what you do. Isn't that great? The good news is we all do that, or we wouldn't be in this room. And that empowers women to take full advantage of their personal power. And that's why it's an investment in people. The work of this business is not what people perceive to be the work. The work is just getting under their skin, and it's the investment of time and energy and love and belief and pouring our guts, every fiber of our being, our molecules into them, breathing that into them. That's the work. And so I enroll them into a concept or an idea in my area. This is how I work. I don't create a program or a promotion for them. I want them to be smart leaders. I want them to read what their unit needs. I don't want to micromanage. I don't want to spoon feed them. I want them to figure it out. And so if you make 2 columns, just as an example, to empower people gives them an idea that they can create a program or a promotion with it. To enable them means that you make the promotion and you hand it out and you email it to them. I don't want to enable them. I want to empower them. So many times when I give a speech, people say, do you have a website or do you have that? I go, no, this is the real deal right here. This is all you get. Because then you can create the promotion, because then you'll own it and then it will be powerful. It won't be mine. You'll one-up me, I hope. And number 2, ask questions to help them find answers. The other would be to tell them the answers. That's enabling, not empowering. So let's just move on. Give them a challenge. Give them the ideas on how to make it happen so it will strengthen their belief and their confidence in themselves, and then they'll walk in a greater new person, and then they create the promotion. I do, however, do about 1 or 2 promotions a year, but it's something really simple, like the 4th quarter, like right now, is anyone who's a star consultant. They get a little something from me, the national. And it's something really little. Like really little. Like the other day, I had on this great pair of earrings, apparently, because Karen Pierce says, okay, I have to have those earrings. Those are so slammin' good. And then Jamie Cruz Virginia said, oh, and me too, I gotta have those. I go, these earrings? These earrings? You gotta have? These 90-cent earrings? Really? And Karen goes, you're kidding, I thought they were $90. It's just a once a year kind of thing, end of the year, or maybe for you it's December. But to figure that out for yourself when you need what you need. The 2 priorities I work with, number 1, building leaders and directors, and number 2, building Cadillacs and senior directors. Those are my 2 priorities. I work the 20-80 rule. 20% of the people do 80% of the work. There are many people in my national area that I have not talked to in 10 years. I mean, what am I going to talk to them about? Hi, how was your vacation? Really? Seriously, people. And so I want to give you permission to know that that really is okay. Because sometimes I've heard people say, well, I talk to everybody, and I go, and how's that working for you? Really? And some people do that because they want to build relationships, and that's great if you know your motivation going in and your expectation. But I work with 20% of the people, and in building leaders and directors, that's where the Destination NSD came up 4 years ago, actually. You know how we create something, how you get a little bit of unrest, and you don't really know where to go, and so you kind of start doing something different? You know, because if you keep doing the same, well, you're going to keep getting the same. So I started doing something different 4 years ago. It's called Destination NSD, and I wanted to create for people to begin to think like nationals. I didn't have a national from it, but I had a lot of unit club people for the first time, some new Cadillac people, et cetera. And so then this year, as a follow-up, that unrest was created again because I am up to building nationals. And so I want to make sure that I can pour into them what I need to do. So NSD now. See, before it was Destination NSD. Be careful what you speak, because what is your intention? Destination NSD. So now my new conversation was NSD now! Now! So we created NSD now. Thea Elvin and Julia Sullivan and myself said, okay, it's now. And so the idea behind that was to build NSDs. I selected people that had 3 offspring or 100 people in their unit and 1 offspring. And I did give them about 3 months to qualify if they didn't have a DIQ or whatever. The whole concept of that program is for them to disappear their own thinking conversation and instead acquire mine. To think, talk, act, be a national. And we work on things like 10% net growth, 10% of their unit in red until you get to 20%. Things like that will support that kind of leadership growth. And then the second class that I'm doing at the same time, you know, we all work on our strengths, and mine was always to work within groups in my unit when I was a director, and I do the same thing in my area. And this one's called Legacy Leaders. I created a binder. It was really an offshoot of something that Thea Elvin did when she was a new national, and I had it in my office for 4 years, never looked at it. And so then I pulled it out, and I thought, Legacy Leaders. And I took some of her stuff and created some of my stuff and put it all together. And this is an accountability program. They had to be at Leadership Conference, for example, to even be in it. And there were about 3 or 4 that didn't go, and bummer for you. I really wanted them to be in it. I really wanted to work with them. But you know what? Show me you're up to something first, because don't you ever get tired just pouring into people? Anyway, okay. Good. I was thinking it was the only one. But this is an accountability program where they have to 2 monthly calls every single month. They have a checklist. They have things to turn in at the end of every single month, like their production sheet and what they're projecting, and just a checklist of points that I have. And every single day before the night is over, they have to email me their 6 most important list. That's an example of a 1-month assignment. I mean, it's very, you know what it's like? It's kind of like one of them is high school and one of them is college. The legacy leaders are high school. And it's just like, they're just tied to me like, you know, high schoolers. And then in college, it's just a different expectation. I just expect you get it done. And the only thing I do with them is one-on-one calls. So they're treated more like the big girls. They've already proven themselves, and that's why. My Offspring National B Meals Lego often told me as a director, you just have that Pied Piper effect. I mean, like, people always want to just follow what you say. It's just your energy. And you know what? We all have the Pied Piper effect or we wouldn't be here, right? And this is what I have to say about that. They follow us not because they think they can, but because they believe that there's an oasis, just like Michael Douglas said in The American President. And so we have to be very clear that what we sell is dreams, that consultants sell cosmetics. Be very clear, my friends, what we're selling. My offspring, Thea Elvin, always tells me that I have an angel on my shoulder, and I do. And so do you. And guess what? It's directing us and protecting us every step of the way. Because you know what? We're all brilliant. We really and truly are. But sometimes we're not sure which direction to go, so we just have to trust. You know, it's like we pray about it, but you can't nag about it. You just have to trust. And people have asked me, how do you build an area and how do you build a pride in an area? And I say you build people first and you build leaders. You don't focus on creating an area of pride because that's entitlement. You focus on creating the desire in others and the passion in others and the fulfillment of the dream in others and the expectation of excellence in others. And you teach them how to expect it of themselves. You are the point guard, the point of accountability, the point of praise, the point of challenge, the point of encouragement, the point of belief. And then when you have people achieving their heart's desire and their wins, you'll have area pride. And Mary Kay always said, help enough other people get what they want, and you'll get what you want. Operative word, enough.
I want you to know that that's the only way to really multiply yourself. Imagine yourself right now. Just imagine yourself having 150 consultants in your unit. 150 directors in your area, 3 Offspring National Sales Directors. How does that sound? But you know what? There is no way possible that you can do that all yourself. As a one-lady show, so you have to develop an organization of leaders. Once again, it comes down to, as you keep hearing, production or leaders. So that's involved in your thinking. I'm going to give you a little quiz here. I'm going to ask you a question. How did you advise directors to work with all their new April recruits? Because in order to change what we're doing, we got to change our thoughts. What was your first thought that pops into your head? What did you tell directors? This is what to do with all these new recruits. And then what thought pops into your head about working with all those new recruits you've got in your personal unit? Because we all have units. So I'm just going to tell you real quickly what popped into my mind about what do I need to tell these people about working. Because to me, there's a difference about talking to them in the language of building leaders or talking to them of let's just get these people started. All right, so this was just what popped into my head. I need to send all new consultants an immediate welcome letter with what to do next, etc. I need to have a senior consultant meeting with all senior consultants and either tape it if they're not in town or do it in town to equip these senior consultants. I need to go over how to work with their new recruits. I said, I need to call each recruiter and find out what's happened with her recruit so far and ask what the next step is going to be with her new recruits. Give her suggestions if necessary. Talk about her new recruit earning the pearls of sharing. Encourage her to come to new consultant with her new recruit. Why? Want her to hear it again? I want her to learn better, and when she's really good at it, I'm going to put her on the program and teach her how to be a director. Encourage the recruiter to the next level on the career path. She just got to recruit. What's going to be next for her? As long as she's working well with that new recruit, I don't butt in. I let her be the leader. I'm looking to spot talent fast. So I'm going to latch onto those new people and become a mentor and a visionary. I believe you can do that. So then with directors, I'm going to be reminding them that we're still in the process. You started your momentum. Make May a momentum building month. Don't stop and manage just what you've got. Let's capitalize on this. How many new recruits are you going to have to make May magical as well? Okay, so compare that thinking just with whatever you wrote down. And try to start a filter for everything you're doing is how can I use this to develop leaders and build leaders? If directors think I have to call all 85 of those new recruits, and some of them did get 85, some got 200. If I got to call every single person myself, I have to do everything myself. Really, who wants that job? And who can do it for very long? But instead, if you equip and build leaders in the process, you're bringing people up and you're getting the job done. It's just a different mind thought. So, with a few calls to my leaders, I can find out what's going on with all the directors in my area without calling all the directors in my area. It's not that I don't have a pulse of what's going on. I've got a pulse. because they tell me everything and then some. So try not to do it all for them, but allow them to develop into leaders. What is your one story? Cheryl's is building Red Jackets. Mine's working on one-on-one to build leaders. What's your one story? And are you encouraging the building of leaders in every area of your national area? I want you to know how great you are, and also about how much potential you've got. Around this group, it's easy to feel less than if we allow ourselves to visit that place. Somebody said that already today. For example, how many of you went around asking people how many new recruits did you get in April? And then how'd you feel after that? That make you feel pretty good? I'll bet you some of them felt great, but some of you started to question yourself. Oh my gosh, I wasn't thinking high enough, or what could I have done? That is destructive conversation. The comparison game, there's going to always be some that do more and some that do less. So I would just encourage you to stop the comparison game and swim in your own lane. Just play the hand that you've been dealt. Don't compare yourself. The best thing, I'm going to tell you, no matter how many recruits you got, the best thing that can come out of April is that leaders have revealed themselves. Leaders have revealed themselves. If you will look at which offspring directors did the most recruiting, those will be your next senior directors, future executives, or executives, no matter what your heart's telling you about the ones you want to be. In your unit, the ones that did the recruiting, those will be your next offspring directors. They've revealed them. This is a huge aha moment, so take it and run with it. The first priority is to latch onto those people and inspire them, dream with them, and tell them what's possible for their future. When working to develop people, personal agendas have to take a back seat, of course, and our egos and our heart has to step aside, and we work with the workers. We love everybody. We work with the workers. Mary Kay encouraged us to lead with grace. And, you know, passionate leaders have a soul-to-soul relationship with others. So I would just ask you, just to rate yourself a little bit, are you calm and relaxed when leading people? Do they see you as a pillar of strength and a constant in our world of uncertainty? Do you make your work seem effortless? Mary Kay did. Do you lead with confidence, composure, and a deep sense of peace? And do consultants and directors want your life? Do more people feel confident and empowered in your presence? Passionate leaders approach every day with joy, enthusiasm, and positive expectations. We're deliberate and mindful in our actions and our reactions. And you know, when there's people out there that are going to, in situations that are going to push your buttons, we have to just choose to not react negatively with fear, attack, defense, or retreat. Instead, we respond positively with hope, faith, optimism, and creativity. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. It goes with the territory. Kites rise highest against the wind, not with it. So, our problems are always going to come and go, but we've never been given a challenge that we don't have the ability to problem solve. Did you ever stop to think that it's only in the darkness that you can see the stars? You've each been given special gifts to share with the world, and I'm so in awe of you and proud to be a part of your sisterhood. Albert Einstein said, imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. So, I have a question for you. What is rolling around in your imagination today? You've heard a lot. You've heard fantastic things. Many things are going to catch your eye, but a few will catch your heart. Pursue those. One of the greatest definitions of success goes like this. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Success does not lie in the achievement of the goal, although that's what the world considers success. It lies in the journey toward the goal. We are successful as long as we're working toward something that we want to bring about in our lives. So we're at our best when we're climbing, aren't we? We're thinking, planning, working. When we're on the road to something we want to bring about, no matter our age or our accomplishments. So what is your current goal that gets you up in the morning, energized, that you can't wait to get started on it? Do you have that goal? Are you all over the place with a million goals? Wow, it's got to be something specific. Remember, Mary Kay always said it's impossible to chase two rabbits and catch either one. We have reached so many of our life's goals and dreams. That's really hard to even dream anymore, or dream bigger, isn't it? Because we're so happy and we're so incredibly blessed. But that's dangerous. It's like a ship without a rudder, and we are not going to drift into anything good or exciting. So what is your goal? And how much time are you spending thinking about it and strategizing about it? It's exciting to think about. How can you and I tap into our gigantic potential? If everything we have is just a result of 5% or 10% of our mind, consider what if we could increase this. Our mind is a gold mine. We all have problems. We all have challenges. That's all going to be there. But if you would think this new thought, now I know everybody's got different ideas. We all do things differently here, and we all get to the same place. And that's why people say, don't do it just what she's doing, do what you need to do. And then you go, well, what is it I need to do? I need to figure that out. Well, this is what I'm going to challenge you to do. Because if you understand that we become all we think about, but a lot of people never learn to think. They don't. A lot of people you're associated with, they don't think. They get up in the morning, they put their clothes on, everything is a habit, then they go to work and they come back. They do not think, period. So we have to move this brain creatively in the right direction. And I challenge you to do this. I challenge you right now, at least for the next month, at least for 30 days, to take a clean piece of paper every single morning for 30 minutes. And really, even if you did a 15, I think you'd see remarkable results. So take a clean piece of paper. And I want you, before you leave here, to decide on what is this goal, this one magnificent obsession. What is it you are trying to accomplish in the next year, the next 2 years before our 50th anniversary? I want you to write that goal at the top of the paper. Clean piece of paper every single morning. And for 15 to 30 minutes, I want you to just let ideas flow into your head that would support that goal. And try to get to 20 different ideas every single morning that play into this goal. And this is not easy. It's not something we're used to. And I will tell you that most of the ideas you get, you may not ever act on. But if you will do this every single day for a month, try to do 20. Think of the incredible ideas that you're going to have that will play into your particular goal. You can sort through them. It will be in your style, in what moves you. You'll be 100% enrolled in it because it came from you. It's something from you. It'll support your goal. I truly think you're going to astonish yourself with what you come up with. So I challenge you to do that. Who will give it a try? Will you? Okay.
As we close this amazing CD collection, I'd like you to hear Mary Kay express her most heartfelt gratitude to Daylene White. Listen to this intimate exchange between these two remarkable ladies.
And now, if I may, we're going to give you a Fortune magazine in just a minute, but in the meantime, I would like to pay a special tribute to Daylene. Daylene, would you please come up here? This goes back to the days when there were only two of us. And without this wonderful human being's help, we might not even be here today, because she, even in those early days when there were many doubts and frustrations and fears, as you can well imagine, will this work? Can we do it? How will we work? What will we do? She would go out, and because I couldn't go out there, they would say to me, if you own this company, then why in the world are you out here selling this Day Radiance at $1.50? And it was terrible. So when I couldn't do it, I would say, Daylene, now look, go out and try this idea, let's do this. And we'd think together what could be done, and Daylene would go out and put it into action. And so without her, we would not have maybe a 30-year anniversary. So I just wanted to say a very special thank you. Here is my little anniversary note to you, telling you how much I love you and how much I appreciate what you've done for us. And Irma, would you bring it? We have a little gift for you, too, to commemorate this.
Oh, my goodness. You shouldn't do this to me.
Yes, I should.
I can't tell you what this 30 years has meant and means to me. And yes, you would have been celebrating, because no one who was around for any length of time could have resisted the charm, could have resisted the determination, could have resisted the vision. Because the vision that she gave to all of us was so incredible of what could become. And 99 and 99 and 99 100% of everything that has been accomplished is because of her faith, belief, and that vision. And I can't thank you enough. It's been a wonderful journey that's just beginning.
Aren't you glad you stayed?
Oh, yeah.
Can I open this? You know, yes. I don't think Daylene really came to stay. I mean, everybody, when I was trying to recruit people, you know, they'd look at me with those eyes like, she is nuts. You know, Daylene didn't, but she just felt sorry for me, and so she wanted to help. And boy, did she ever help.
Well, I was just going to stay around a while to help get started, and then I never could find a reason to leave.
Thank goodness for that.
Sure has been fun. Yes. I'm going to save this one. I mean, if I were opening it in the room, I'd probably rip it, you understand. I was sitting back there thinking as Mary Kay talked, the more things change, the more they remain the same.
That's right. That's true.
Everything that works still works. Oh.
Read the inscription. Can you read it? I'm going to draw my glasses.
Time will never diminish my love.
Oh, good. Read it without the glasses.
And success, and sincere, I may need the glasses, and sincere appreciation of all you've done over these 30 years. Love, Mary Kay. Oh, so special. Thank you so much. What a treasure. What a treasure you are.
Thank you.
You bless my life daily, and I can't tell you how much you mean to me. And Mary Kay, without you, the world simply wouldn't have been the same. And because of you, we're going to change it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Good.